Hey guys, we're in the kitchen and we've got a white-tailed deer heart. And this grosses out a lot of people. But when you really stop and think about it, this heart is just a muscle. And it's a muscle that serves a certain purpose, just like every muscle in the body does. It serves a certain purpose, a certain role. So this is a venison heart. It's a deer heart from a buck that was shot with our friend Teresa just a couple days ago. And you can see that's a pretty big heart. But let's flash back to that hunt and see that shot.
There
it is.
That's a buck. Not a mighty nose.
So what I'm going to do to clean this, there's a number of ways you can cook venison heart. We're just going to fry it today, but you can also cut it up. We like to put it with onions and garlic. We make a really good bruschetta out of it. It's really good. It's a little more tough than regular cut of meat just because the more that a muscle works, the more that it contracts, the tougher it tends to be. And so this is the hardest working muscle in the body of the heart. So what we're going to do is all of this fat, everything around this heart that's white colored, we want gone. So what I like to do, I might waste it a little bit by doing this, but I like to take the top of the heart and just cut straight down. You can see most of that top part is big arteries, and it's pretty unpleasant tasting and unedible. So I like to cut that, and then it kind of stands up by itself. Then what I like to do is cut just at a downward angle all the way down, all the way around rather, and just cut this little bit of fat. Any of that white fat, we're just gonna trim that off, go around. It's a very like tallowy fat, leaves a coat in your mouth, almost like a waxy coating. It's not very pleasant, so we want to get all of that off. I'm just going around and getting that off as best we can. Alright, so what we're left with, we've got the right ventricle and left ventricle. Right ventricle pumps blood throughout the body, left ventricle pumps blood through the lungs. Then we've got this septal wall, so we're just going to kind of cut right along the septal wall. Just kind of along that artery there. And this is super tender. And then that'll open up. Once we get this cleaned up, there's a good piece of meat. Now we're gonna, all these little arteries and things, little capillaries, we're gonna cut these out. Any of that lighter colored or white colored, any of that stuff, you wanna cut that out because that's gonna be pretty tough, unpleasant tasting. But they're like little strings. We wanna get all that out of there. So we'll just keep cleaning this up, just taking our time. So then I've got this entire left ventricle, pretty big. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this open. We're just gonna do a little bit of heart surgery, clean this out. And it kind of all comes off, if you do it nice and slowly, it can all come off together for the most part. Good to have a sharp knife, you don't need a big knife. All of that off, and what you're left with is beautiful red meat. That's just red meat. That's all that is. Just had to prepare it a little bit differently. We're gonna clean this up, wash it off, and we're just gonna cut it into some little strips and fry it. Got these beautiful heart strips, if you will. And we just got some pre-seasoned flour, some Zatarain's seasoning that we like to use. Throw a few of those in there. Alright, so we've got some very hot coconut oil here. Coconut oil, it's got an excellent flavor. It's a little healthier for you. And it's got a higher smoke point. So the oil's nice and hot. I could be wrong, but coconut oil doesn't seem to pop as much either. I like frying with coconut oil. Now I know what you're saying, some of you. And you can fry anything to make it good, and that is true. But I challenge you to saute this with some onions. We can make tacos out of them. We do a bruschetta, like I said. It's really, really good. And I guarantee you, you will be pleasantly surprised. All right, there we go. There's the heart. We're gonna give these a few minutes just to cool down. We're gonna put them in our mouth. All right, so here we go. Fried venison heart. It's definitely got just a slightly different texture. I mean, really, if anybody didn't know any better, you wouldn't know the difference. I mean, it's excellent. Excellent flavor, excellent. Zattering is perfect. Fully taste the meat. It's incredible. Very moist, juicy. But I think it's not going to be a tender piece of meat. It's not going to be a fall apart in your mouth. It's super tender because it is the hardest working muscle in the body. But excellent, excellent, high quality piece of meat. You want to try it?
Reminds me of liver. Has a little, it's not as potent as liver, but it's really good though. It really is.
Hopefully it'll make you think before you throw the heart away on your next kill. Hey boy. We got our triplet boys starting to wake up from their nap.
Casey, stay wild. Yeah.